Hello, you're listening to Heavy Set Go, and this is Geoff Crenshaw. I am at Mr. Theater. Very nice of them to let us record in here. Ben couldn't come. He went and got bronchitis. At least that's the excuse he's using. I'm really sick, Geoff. I sure wish I could be there, but I got bronchitis.
I got bronchitis.
I just can't come. Alan Burrell blew his tranny, so he's not able to come out.
You can't say that kind of stuff anymore.
Well,
No,
I meant transmission.
Oh, okay. He blew his tranny? That is not PC, bro.
I gotcha. Well, he screwed up his transmission on a car that he only owned for like 3 days beforehand, so he's stuck out in Happy Valley.
Happy Valley.
I know what he's thinking right now. My life is hell!
Yeah. Stop making fun of me.
I'll blow my tranny anytime I want.
Faster, Alan. Anyway,
You're going nowhere.
I'm with a couple of gentlemen. One has been here before, the proprietor of Mr. Theater. He directed a stage. No, he didn't direct. He was the star of the stage adaptation of Tommy Wiseau's The Room. He as Tommy Wiseau, or as Johnny, I should say. But honestly, what difference does it make when you think of you don't think of Johnny, you think of there's Tommy Wiseau.
It's great. It's a great movie. It's a good time. And everybody come here. We love it. It's all about love. You know, everybody come together and you walk away and everybody's happy. You know, love each other. Don't hate. Don't do drugs. Okay, bye.
I've met the real Tommy Wiseau 4 times, and if I close my eyes, I can honestly imagine that being him. The other guy, the laugher, you might call him, is a legend around here, a man of many talents, man of many faces. He's played Alice Cooper, as has Montetré, in the same play.
It's like I'm looking in a mirror.
Yes.
I'm bleeding from the eyes.
You've been Shatner, you've been Rod Serling, you've been all kinds of different parts. You're like a shapeshifter of sorts.
Thank you.
So, welcome,
Thank you.
Dylan Hillerman and Montetré.
Thank you.
It's good to be here on Heavy Set Go.
I like being in this theater.
It's an accomplishment for you, man.
It is It is one of those. It
It's
has that going for it.
you're telling us how long did it take for you to get all these seats out of the old theater?
12 to 14 hours
12 to
straight.
14
We
hours.
drive to Salem, but we had to get them out that same time. You know.
And I see you have some leftover seats up there. They were $2 each. Do you mind if I ask how much you spent on the seats total?
Oh, I think we got everything with some sconces for like $225 to be less than $250.
Damn.
And then also the rental of the U-Haul, and then this place to get it, we had to pay like the first and last month, so it was a huge upfront fee for this,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And then, but the seats normally would cost $250, so I did the price, and we saved or more, so we saved like $20,000 or more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think you almost have to be, especially modern Portland, the way it's been going, you have to be almost crazy to open a theater.
Yeah, or crazy, or both.
It helps.
Yeah.
What made you want to?
Ryan, my co-partner in this, co-business owner, him and Jeanette Trexler also. But it was Ryan and I talked. We were going to do The Room on stage, and we were going to do other places, and inevitably, we looked at this. He saw this spot online. It was empty, his warehouse, and we were like, let's go over there, just check it out. And I saw the parking lot, and I'd seen the pictures. It was just empty, and it was completely empty. And I thought, man, this is going to cost 5 times as much, as opposed to just biting the bullet and doing it at somebody's playhouse. So we decided to just do it, just go for it. And that was it. He's like, you want to just do the theater? I'm like, look at this parking lot. Like, yes. And so, it came along really quickly.
You're doing a show here, aren't you, Dylan? Or
No, I'm not doing a stage play this year.
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. I'm going to be. I'm helping with one, but it's not happening at this space.
Aren't you bringing back Shock Opera, your Alice Cooper play?
Yes, we're doing that. Oh God, I forgot we are doing a stage play. What the fuck am I?
But we've already done it. We're just going to make it a little better.
True. Yeah.
You're gonna add.
When we first did it, somebody dropped out.
Oh, who dropped
The
out?
character.
We had one of the members of the Alice Cooper group, or one of the actors who played one of the original members of the Alice Cooper group, dropped out about a month, 3 weeks before we went up.
Was that after you shot the video sequences?
Yes, we had.
Oh, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, we did do it, and I purposely do my video sequences early just for such a occasion.
Now describe
Chaos.
describe the layout of the show, like how the show runs, so people can kind of contextualize what we're talking about.
Okay, well, basically the play's called Shock Opera, and it's about Alice Cooper. The original title is Shock Opera, the unauthorized Alice Cooper story. And we've taken out the UN, and I'll tell you why later. But first off, the idea came, I don't know when it came to me exactly. It was a long time ago, but I think conversation just sort of crystallized it. Watched some documentaries, bought some books, started writing scenes, and based on other plays I'd done, I wanted to sort of like the play I had directed previously was written by someone else. And the one that I had written before that was just one room, no scene changes. And I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be like a movie, so there's about 40 plus scenes, including a little bit of videos. There's a multimedia element. There's some dance routines, and I tried to do as much research as I could so I could give you the impression that you understand a little bit more about a rock band that I don't think gets enough credit in terms of rock and roll history and their influence that they have. And it's just, the performer that his music is something that I've been listening to most of my life, and I just thought it was like a kind of of all the bands, I actually had thought originally about doing it about Devo, and I discovered that the band was actually fighting, and which is the opposite situation with the Alice Cooper band. They were kind of coming together the last few years, and so the timing was perfect because the day we finished auditions, the original Alice Cooper band officially announced on the internet that they were back together and recording.
Wow.
It's first time since 1974.
Wow.
So, and that's when my parents divorced, so it was like a cool, nice, wraparound, like, hey, things are going well for me too, yay! So the band's back together.
So are your parents like, oh, we're going to remarry?
Oh, no, I just meant, I was happier than I've ever been since 1974 is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, I found myself in a place with a really amazing girlfriend and my producer, Julia Arg.
Same person.
Yeah, same person.
I've seen her tagged in your post before, and I've never figured out how she pronounces her last name.
Oh.
You know what it looks like to me?
What?
It looks like that thing the word that appears in Charlie Brown's speech bubble after he loses the football away.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. I think what it came from, and I understood it later. At first I didn't. I thought it just meant, like a monster sound because we were working at a haunted house when we met. But her last initial is R, and I think it was more of a pirate thing.
Oh, I gotcha.
But it could be interpreted any way you would desire.
I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
She was the nurse, wasn't she? The spooky Alice Cooper nurse.
Yeah, the one with the peg leg and the one eye.
Yeah,
I remember.
Pirate. Yeah, no.
Yeah, she's terrifying.
No, she was. Yeah. So why was it? Did you say why it was now not unauthorized?
Oh, please tell.
Oh, okay. We initially produced and mounted the play and performed it at the Funhouse for a weekend, a stretch of 4 shows.
I think it was. Was it 2 weekends, or was it just 1 weekend?
It was just one. Plan 10 was 2 weekends.
That's right.
But ours is a shorter run, and we wanted to do it one more time for the end of the year, and decided that we would do it at a different space. And this is partially, actually, the owner even said, if you want to do it again, you should probably do it somewhere else, not because I don't like it, but because it deserves a bigger venue or something. And so we took it to another venue, and it was about the same size.
It was better, but it was a little bit more difficult getting out from, because we didn't have a double-sided green room.
Was that the Gothic church? I remember you saying something about taking it to a Gothic church.
Oh no, there was a potential for that. There was a possibility that we might go to the old church downtown because I have a friend who does sound there, and that I don't know why that fell through. I don't even remember anymore because we just had to make decisions as we went. Anyway, we ended up performing it at the Analog, and everybody was a great help. So we got to mount it. We only got to perform for one night. My mom came to see it. Oh, nice. And then Alice Cooper's assistant showed up.
So they were playing the next night.
Yeah.
Alice Cooper was.
Yeah. That part we did on purpose. We purposely did it so that they would be in town, so I had enough time to figure out, like, how the fuck do I get through to these guys? And I texted one of them on Instagram and just said, hey, we'll give you the first couple rows if you bring in the crew. Free on us. It's a story about you. And I didn't.
How's that not terrifying?
Yeah, well, it was. It was an actual. When I typed it, I remember even looking at Julie and go, send. Let's see what happens. Are we gonna get sued? Don't know. We'll find out. And just the opposite. The assistant showed up and said, "This is a really, really, really fun show, and I'm having a great time. So I can't wait to see Act 2." And afterwards, I said, I talked to him and said, "Well, we're going to see Alice tomorrow." And he goes, "Well, unfortunately, Alice couldn't show because he'd just come into town and needed to rest." And so we got to go to the show and meet him.
Wow.
And pretty much walked away with him going, "Keep doing what you're doing." And
wow.
pat in the head and cool. What's that jacket come from? Oh yeah, I know that brand. Just like get the gear was close, and so it was nice. It was.
So from unauthorized to authorized.
It is now authorized.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Side note: my uncle was at that same concert you were at.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He apparently loves Alice Cooper. So he didn't get the backstage pass, but he was there that night because I saw your corresponding Facebook posts.
Nice.
Like, oh, isn't that neat? Wouldn't it be cool if they crossed paths? I don't imagine that happening.
Yeah. That's the thing I like about Alice Cooper. One of those, it's just he's been around long enough. He just has a cross section of fans of all ages and backgrounds.
I remember what I remember him from most, and you'll probably want to slap me when I say this, but I remember him from the Staples commercial, the back to school cycle.
I remember. No, it was funny. Yeah. Him and his daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that. It might have been Calico, the one who got into comedy and acting. I think it was.
I don't know.
He has three kids, I believe.
I just assumed it was like some random kid they cast as.
Oh, that's his daughter.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, she's an entertainer now too. She does improv. I think she spent some time in the Groundlings or something.
You said school's out forever. No, school's out for summer.
Big difference. Nice try though. Yeah.
The Wayne's World cameo is always something that I got. I knew him from that too, actually.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
Little
We're not worthy.
Believe me, that horrible thought, that little shadow, the minute I got into the room, and I'm the only.
You're dolled out,
Dingus.
like you're dressed up like him.
Yeah, I'm the only dingus in the room, just dressed up like just full on.
I
So
make
he's
up
shaking
it.
someone else's hand, and I'm about 5 people down, and he just goes, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then I have to give a shout out to Kyler, who is the photographer / assistant, who he looked at me and goes, "Here's the moment." Shook his hand, everything was great, and we were only told, just keep it down to like 10 seconds or whatever. He at least talked to us for 2 minutes.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that was pretty, it feels like forever when you're meeting a hero. So.
It does though, because you're getting that kind of stuff out there. And what else did he say? He said, "Oh, you should do this down at Cooperstown sometime,
He
right?
did.
His bar in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So we get to perform at his.
You're
he doesn't
going?
need-
He
Yeah,
said,
well, he's gonna
I have
all go down. Yeah.
I have a new stage.
Wow.
And it's going to be interesting because A, it's a sports bar. B, it's a family bar, and we have some risque content. Although it is his story, and he's put it in the media, so it's not something that's hidden or controversial necessarily. It's
Right.
out of his mouth. However, the stage is also apparently visible from the road.
Uh-oh.
That's another tricky thing. So it might have to be truncated.
You have a burlesque segment
Yeah.
as well as that might.
Quite a few.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
We have-
There's a spider sequence.
I remember
There's
the
the dead
spider.
babies.
Yeah.
Dead baby, and the drone flies out.
I did not see the dead baby sequence. I went to that first dress rehearsal. And I know
Okay,
that
yeah,
was-
we didn't get around to that because I don't think she was present for the dress.
That's right. There was
We have this
yeah.
baby head drone flying around with glowing eyes, and
Wow.
And there was a.
yeah, it's fun.
I think there's also the
to see
maid.
them.
There's a maid sequence as well that would happen as well.
Yeah.
That didn't happen every night also.
Damn.
But the
I gotta see
spider,
that
the
again.
spider
Yeah.
happened every night. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of flash,
Black Widow rather.
bit of leg.
The Black Widow.
That was it's a lot of fun.
It was the weirdest
Like,
play to
damn,
be a
it's
part
actually
of.
this.
I was so happy to do it, but it was always like I felt like I was like I'm doing this guy's fanboy like thing. He's dressed up as Alice. He's like I'm the middle-aged Alice. I'm like he's just like and I'm gonna sing with my girlfriend. We're gonna do this thing. It's like he's just getting off right now. That's cool. Whatever.
I could tell it was a labor of love when I saw it.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
Right.
this was really cool.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
It was, and I completely bought you as
It worked.
I
They wanted to give me a nose. I'm like, I don't need the nose.
I was honestly, when I saw a picture of you before, and I was like, "That's Alice," and I'm kind of skeptical. And then I was like, "Oh, well, go and have a good time at least." And then I go, "Wow, he was really good."
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, if we did a movie version,
Thank you.
I would totally put on a fake nose for a movie version, you know, and all that kind of.
Oh, yeah.
do that.
Yeah,
But
I had
People
a fake,
are more judging about
Yeah.
film adaptations
Yeah.
than stage.
I had a fake nose for every night. The first set, except for one night, and then that one where Kyler showed up, and my mom showed up. We didn't have any time, and I was like, "Fuck it, I don't need it. My nose is big enough.
Yeah.
You know, I got a big enough nose, and it's gonna be fine." And sure enough, the next night I'm like, "I'm going out. I'm not putting on a prosthetic nose." And walking up to my hero and going, no way. Like, I'm a pirate.
That's what I felt. It was a good balance because that's what you did in the play. But I look at it like playing Cyrano de Bergerac. And there's a picture of me holding that book as Alice, and it's like, and you can see my profile, you know, and you don't need the nose to play Cyrano. It's all in his head, you know, like
Exactly.
he doesn't, you know, it's yeah.
It's not even about that. It's part of his character.
I definitely got into the way he walks and talks
Yeah,
and slumps
precisely.
and all of that, you know. That stuff I would, mannerisms. But the nose is,
Yeah.
you know,
Part of his charm.
The nose is what everyone focuses on.
Oh,
And if
yeah.
I'm a lead actor playing him growing up through like a decade or two or so, you know, then that's just gonna throw everybody off, and it's gonna fall off at one point.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And you use what you got when you're in character. It's
Yeah.
like if you want to get that witch profile, sneer,
Yeah.
do that, it's all part of the thing.
One of my favorite moments, you might not like me bringing it up, but one of my favorite moments during the dress rehearsal, that girl who played Zappa,
Kate.
Kate,
Kate Wyatt, yes.
Kate Wyatt. She was
Yeah.
up on stage doing Zappa, and like her nose just like
Oh, that's
forward.
right. I forgot about that. And she
I
started.
laughed so hard.
And I think even one of the rehearsals, I might have even brought it up. It's like if you have nose problems, just hold it in there with your
You
finger
did bring that
and
up,
keep
yeah.
going.
It was brilliant. Man,
It
that was like
great.
somebody was strangling a cat back there.
No.
Shut that baby up.
Someone's having automotive issues.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of plays, and I've realized I've only seen of your plays. I've only seen one, but you use West Ramsey a lot.
Correct.
How did you and West come together?
West, I was aware of West through the internet because he acts a lot. He's in a lot of productions.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a hard worker.
And
He is.
I'd seen his name and face around, and so I was aware of him. And then he showed up for an audition for a play I directed a few years back called Headless Body and Topless Bar, at the bar formerly known as Tonic, which is now closed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went to two other names and then they shut down.
Damn.
But it was a really fun space because we were able to make it feel like it was a strip club in the back room for that run. And I got the idea. Actually, it was Angus Vieira, the writer, and a friend of mine who's in a lot of things as well. I was hanging out with him at his house, and he goes, I just saw this movie you've probably never heard of. It's this B film that no one's, it was like probably direct to video. It's called Headless Body and Topless Bar. It's like a thriller set in a strip club. Guy comes there to rob it, accidentally kills the bartender, and puts the place on lockdown,
Wow.
and psychologically tortures him throughout the evening before he leaves. And I wasn't sure at first, and I went for it. And at auditions, this guy named Wes shows up, and I cast him as the name is escaping me, but essentially he was a businessman who had
Wes is listening to us right now, going, "It's Steve. It's Steve. His name is Steve, or whatever."
Steve, yeah. It was a name. It was a very straightforward name, and the idea was that he was my nickname for him was the Kinkmeister because he had a bunch of stuff in his suitcase that was stuff he'd take to the hotel or whatever on the for a nooner.
Kinkmeister. That's a name.
Wes would do that.
Yeah.
So had he just moved from San Francisco at that point? Or?
Sacramento.
That's Sacramento. Yeah.
Yeah, he had been here for a short period of time, and and I'm kind of from the Sacramento Valley myself, so that was an instant connection, and then I just thought he was perfect for it, and he has a lot more patience. He's very professional, and he works hard, and sometimes I think he should get more sleep. Wes.
Yeah,
He works nights and acts days.
This
Yeah.
guy. I remember when it snowed here the first time in December.
And he's a great actor. That's what I meant to say. He works hard.
walks
to-
through the woods, through the snow
Cut
to
his
get
craft.
to work, and everything else. It's just Yeah, he's not only a hard worker as an actor, but hard worker outside of it too.
Oh yeah.
He's finding. I think he's getting little
And a
kernels.
great guy, and someone like
Good roles.
I don't work with people more than once unless I like them.
Of course.
Supposedly.
Of course. If you don't like them or trust them, you
Dylan's
can't
a fun
bring them back.
director. Yeah, I don't think I ever fought with Dylan once. That's a good sign.
We never fought.
Yeah, no.
It seemed pretty harmonious to me, although you probably wouldn't necessarily fight in front of people.
It happens.
It does happen. Sometimes you do it just to. Sometimes you have that baby tantrum moment. You just can't stand it, and you throw your script across the room and shake your head like this and go. Say the name over and over again. I didn't do that. That's a friend of mine, also named Dylan. But
You hear that other Dylan?
Got that other
there's aggressive Dylans. But no, I generally, follow the whole, keep the drama away from here. We got enough of that in the rest of our fucking life. Now we're on stage. Just be cool.
Did you also do Tara Angelshorn?
Correct.
What was that one about?
That was a play written by my friend John Marble, who also went to Chico State with me in the same department. He's about 15
This is
years
a
old.
wonderful story, actually. There's a side story he has. I don't know if you've ever told it radio before.
Marble's the guy that did the Plan 10, right?
Correct.
Okay, now it's
Yes, it's the self-same. John Marble, I also cast in Headless Body. He played the bartender that I shot.
Oh.
So he had to be dead there the whole time.
Yeah, he'd be dead most of the time before he cut his head off. He only had about 5 minutes worth of dialogue, and then I kill him.
So he's on stage the whole time?
No, he's right behind the bar, so he got a chance to sneak away and check his phone or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But and then we drag him out and cut his head off. And the next year, he came at me with a script, and he'd come at me and hit me with it, and he just said, "Hey, check it out! I just wrote this B movie." And we both, I forgot about this part, but we both connected during Headless because we found out we were both from Chico State. Not only were we in the same college, we were in the same department. We're both English majors, the same years, and we're almost a generation apart. Yet we had the same professors, same counselors, and knew the same people at the same bar.
Wow.
But we'd never met. So it's bizarre.
But get this right. His son, John Marble's son, Alex,
Oh,
right?
shit, this shit.
He goes to see a play one time in Chico, right? In Chico?
That's correct.
With John, with his father, and he's about 5 years old, right? And he's watching this play where all of a sudden, like, this one character is not showing up. And what was the character's name? And then came
crap.
the friar.
It was the father of
or-
Kate, the
right.
character in
Is it the one that was based on
Bloody
10
heck.
Things I Hate About You was based off of? Taming of the Shrew?
Taming the Shrew, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kate, the
Is she
woman.
the shrew?
Huh?
Is Kate the shrew?
Kate is the Shrew.
Yeah,
Alright.
she is the shrew. And right before we cut for intermission, there's a wedding setting up, and I played the priest. Just a simple role.
Mm-hmm.
But it was memorable partly to Alex also because I chased all the girls off stage during segments, or no, transitions. And so we're all on stage, and this guy's supposed to come on stage and say his line, and he's just not there. And so, it's not easy to improvise Shakespeare. So everybody's just sort of waiting around.
Before you,
Go ahead.
he's telling the story, I think, and Alex is listening because he's like,
Right.
oh my fucking god, I was at that show.
Yes.
And this is how terrifying. This is what he remembers. Go ahead.
The specific detail was this guy missed his cue because he was pissing a number of yards away. Between us and the stage was a whole bunch of blackberry bushes.
Yeah, this
Instead
is
of
good.
going around it, because this guy apparently was a smack addict. He was a little bit off his rocker. He was also a male nurse. Nothing against male nurses. He just happened to be a smack addict.
Sounds good. It's what cereal? What's wrong with that? For us, it's like puffed corn, puffed cereal.
Sugar corn smacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just basically made a beeline for the stage, went right through the blackberry bushes. His costume is all white.
Oh.
He's playing the old father. He talks like this. Oh, of course you should get married to my daughter. Oh, yes. And he jumps up on stage, and we're like,
Where's the blackberry bush?
I thought an elk was coming at us.
Because there's a sound, right? You just hear the sound, right? It's like,
Yeah, it's like, and we're like, and I'm like, holy shit, someone's cutting through that without a machete. And just his skin and some loincloth, or not loin, but cotton. And he gets up on
dressed
stage.
completely white, right?
And he's
Oh,
completely
bloody.
white, but he's coated in sweat and grime. And he starts to talk, and these little blossoms of red throughout his whiteness just start to bloom. And by the end of it, his shirt and his pants were red.
But what's he say?
That
Marry
girl
this
kid
daughter. If you're going to
come-
marry him,
Yeah.
it's just like
he's just erupting in red. And
so
everything's
those,
it's
so
like the
those
best special
5-year-olds
effect you've ever
watching
seen.
this, and he's like, "What is wrong with that man? He's bleeding all over." Is this part of the show?
Yeah, and we
That
get back
kid
to
probably freaked out.
oh, and then next thing you know, we're working on a show together, and yeah.
And he finds out, just like whatever, like 15, 20 years later, or whatever, right? Like,
No, it was even more than that because that was 1980. No, that was 1992.
Yeah.
When that happened.
and you met Alex what year? Like how on that story?
3 years ago.
Yeah, so
Wow.
isn't that crazy? No idea, no connection to that.
Wow.
It's just like he had been at that show, and I think it's so hilarious. So the girls and all the people,
So
they all
strange that
doctored
you
him
just
up afterwards just
Yeah.
to cut that story short. But he didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now he played a clown without pity in Plan 10. So that's how damaged he was from that, I think.
Oh wow, that's the band that was
On Plan 10, yeah.
that didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Weren't they in another play of yours?
Well, they were in Plan 10.
They
that was
they
another-
returned. They're like a side character.
Yeah,
Go on, yeah.
I didn't direct.
I got you.
But they basically don't or they're working on a sequel to these last two plays that they played. These well, actually, they got some other friends. They come in to do the band, the Clowns Without Pity, right? And so what they're doing now is a movie.
A Clowns Without Pity movie?
Yes,
Nice.
correct. And they're trying to basically like find these elusive.
Does this have anything to do with the night attacks?
Has nothing to do with it.
That's funny because because the night attacks, the film he's working on, right? It doesn't involve the. That's the audition I went to, right? Those were the dial. They involved people doing. I don't want to give anything
There's
away.
clowns, but honestly, I honestly never even had them in mind.
Isn't that funny though?
Well, they're not auditioning.
Yeah. Well, they aren't really actors. I mean,
Right.
Jordan, he was good in that. Jesus, what the fuck? That whole thing,
Right.
and that short 72-hour Guignol thing they
That's
did.
some evil clown
That was
characters
good.
in the movie.
He's got. I do not want to give that away. It's such a good thing. But there are some of those sort of clown things in your film. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to get away from clowns.
Since you did mention it, though, you're going to Romania, or you shot some in Romania already. Are you going back?
Sorry. Correct. We just got back in November. In fact, we were there the day that we found out Trump got elected.
They're walking by and they're like,
Were you in Dracula's castle by chance?
Well, we hit a few castles. One
yeah.
is the real Dracula's castle. One's the one they call the real Dracula's castle.
That was in the movie.
No, they just not that I know of. Maybe Coppola might have shot at one of these places.
that was such a well done film. It's so underrated.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
long and it's got Keanu Reeves in it.
Here's why they
Right.
could have.
I liked it.
Because
Yeah.
if you go to Bran Castle, they actually do have items from that film under glass. They have a fake coin. I think they have a ring there, and at least one or two costume pieces.
Well, maybe they filmed
Yeah.
it there. If it's up there on like the hill, like it is off the mountain, then
Because I never saw any text. I mean, maybe
it's not
I
like they
just
have to film
missed
the
it.
whole. Maybe they filmed it there too. Wouldn't that be cuckoo bananas?
That'd be fucking weird. It'd be cool.
You-
You did go there.
That's a good. That's a.
I've seen a picture
be a
of
question.
you posing next to Bela Lugosi's gravesite.
Correct.
When it comes to Dracula, would you prefer Coppola or Lugosi?
Oh,
No one's
Old-
director
old
was
man.
named
the two
too.
movies?
Or-
Ooh, that's interesting. I never even thought to compare the two.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever actually even seen the original Dracula.
You haven't?
Not since
Oh,
I was a
yeah?
kid.
Oh, wow.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing.
I saw it just last October for the first time ever.
It's not a preference
Yeah.
because they're totally different. They're almost totally different sports in terms of filmmaking.
I
You know what I
understand.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think Todd Browning. I mean, there's a lot of I'm kind of tainted by other people's opinions too because I listen to a lot of people who have opinions about Dracula because I'm studying for this Dracula thing.
Yeah.
And like for example, there is a lot of people out there who are of the opinion that the Todd Browning Dracula was inferior to the Spanish-speaking Dracula that was filmed at the same time.
Oh yeah.
in Universal.
Same sets too.
Same sets. And apparently, it's a lot of the shots are better. And
I'm sorry. God, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't thought about this in a while, but they used to do that, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Where they would just use the same sets and do the exact same script
for a foreign audience.
with different. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they just like subtitle or dub things.
That's just so
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's
you know what's
amazing.
and were the shots similar?
Well, to a point, only because there's certain moments that just are just natural.
That's so
Push
brilliant. We should
directly.
do that here. Like seriously, I'm doing workshops and stuff. But imagine instead you invite people in. You go, look, I need a version like this because I had the idea of
Right.
people coming in doing 7 different versions of a movie. But
Yeah.
what if you do it purely for languages?
That's totally brilliant.
Isn't it though?
Uh-huh.
If you do a Spanish version, promote heavily in like Hillsboro because there's a large concentration of Spanish.
Yeah, you could go
speakers.
anywhere, but you could look for that. So promote for maybe a Spanish-speaking director. You could you could get French people easy coming up from Canada, easy peasy. I mean, you could. There are many multi-language people here, and I'm sure that all of these actors are actually looking for an outlet. I mean, there are so many different ethnicities and languages and cultures that are here in Portland, mostly white people. But
We want to see more people.
But seriously, but that would be, I don't know, kind of fascinating. If you could somehow give somebody some form of a budget, and you're like, but here's the thing, you're going to use these sets, you're going to use these locations, you know, like, but here's the storyboards, you know, have fun with it, go ahead,
that'd be
play,
interesting.
but
That's
like you direct
great
this one, you know.
Yeah,
That'd be really interesting.
yeah, and that's as far as your original question about the comparison.
Sorry,
to-
that's really
no,
fun.
that's
hey.
totally that's exactly
great, yeah.
what we do.
Inspiration strikes in real time and it's recorded.
Yeah.
The Coppola thing, to be honest, when I first saw it, I didn't like it.
Dictaphone.
I was in college.
I didn't like it either the first time.
Yeah, and I think I enjoy it more now, but
As you start to make movies, you're like, God, that would be hard.
yeah, well, there's a lot of things I admire about what he did, but at the same time, it's like at least for me, I instantly have like a gate on, like, sure, I'm going to be influenced by some people, and then sometimes you're just like, I see that, I like it, I'm not going to do anything like that because I don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want to be accused of being like that guy, not because I don't like him, because it's too obvious. It's Coppola.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Find something obscure and be influenced. For me, it's like I really try to dig and go, what's the shit that no one's seen? And if it blows my mind, like learn something.
Well, I wonder how that happened for him too. Do you think they came to him with that and go, "Look, we'll hire you to direct this," or do you think it was a passion project for him? Because Coppola always kind of seemed to me like kind of a Lucas or like kind of a Kubrick, where he wanted to do his own projects. I imagine he probably wanted to do it.
Yeah,
right.
Auteur businessman school. Those guys were a generation of business directors.
Oh, the people the group that
but
came
people didn't
from.
get him at first because they were like, we got a
You imagine
long-term
and just
plan.
imagine Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison could have been one of them if he hadn't dropped out. They were making fun of him too, and he just couldn't take it. He's like, "That's fucking man. Let's just make music, man."
You never know.
But the Coppola thing, what I'm learning now, just by researching the novel, is that he put some shit in there that I thought I could take. I was like, oh, no one's done this. I'm reading Dracula. Like, oh, what about those little blue flames that exist over like buried treasure that Harker sees from the train? And Julia's like, oh no, Coppola did that. I'm like, God damn it. I need to watch that again.
I do.
Parallel thinking.
Exactly.
I do, but I do hate that though when you've seen it and you think it's your idea and you think, oh God, I really love this, but I have to watch these 5. You might have been. God, you saw that when you were 5 years old, and that's been done. That's why.
It is parallel thinking.
I don't believe in like. I don't know. I do believe in complete originality, but you can have original ideas.
Sure.
It's just about how you tell it and whatever.
I've heard there's like only 5 5 separate stories ever written. And
no matter what you're
everything
inspired,
else
you know.
is-
Yeah.
I didn't automatically want to
Details.
just tell stories. None of us just we heard stories first, you know.
There's
So-
a thing. This is a parallel topic, but okay, if you could break down as an actor who performed as the lead in shock opera, which story is that? What is that? I mean,
What is shock opera?
if you were to be Joseph Campbell right now, play Joseph Campbell, break down my play and go, it's this. Like, if, for example, like, oh, it's King Midas. It's not King Midas.
I see.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
what's the old story that it might remind you of? It's not Oedipus.
And that's
either.
what I mean. Is like there's those kind of things where you could come up with an original
Prodigal
idea and go back. You could go back to that.
Yeah.
But what would you say?
I think
Prodigal
it's
Son?
The Prodigal Son. I think that's the
That-
shock opera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what Cooper said before. That's why I wanted to see you.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. No.
But
At the same time, like it's also just a complete underlayer. Like whereas I think back in with it's there. It's just there. It's just kind of just a thin. You can say the
Right.
Prodigal Son, but it's not like the first thing that comes to your mind. I mean,
No.
at least not me as an actor anyway.
Right.
But like it's there. It exists. With older Greek plays and the like, that was obvious. I mean, we're talking exposition. They were good writers. They were thoughtful writers, but they were also I don't know, some of the first documented writers.
Right,
So their
right.
exposition skills weren't that great.
And
I mean, they
yeah.
had always had the Deus Ex Machina, and it was just
Right.
it was pretty lame writing if
And
you
then
really
the
break
clouds
some of
came
it down.
down and zap.
Yeah, that Deus
The
Ex
end.
Machina. God, that just, man, that's just the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. I
And
hate it.
technically, Shock Opera isn't really a completed, finished project. It's
It's just
Well, it
still
could-
evolving.
could-
Still, huh?
evolving. Yeah, yeah.
It could. I mean, yeah.
Basically, we did it under the gun intentionally, so we wouldn't procrastinate.
It sucks
cranked
when
out as
you-
many scenes as I could.
It's such a beautiful play though. Even the tech rehearsal that we had, even though
Oh,
it had
yeah.
like failures in sound and like that first
Oh,
the
yeah.
preview, and it was off, and it wasn't, but it wasn't terrible.
Nice.
I mean, somebody came up to me afterwards and like, you got to have better sound, you got to do this, and I'm like, I know, and I trust their opinion. I'm like, trust me, like
We
this was
know
like
what
I
happened.
know,
This is,
but like if you have anything else besides okay, I mean, we'll keep talking about it, sure, but like
Exactly.
it's. But everything else was great, and this, that, and the other, and
Well, I fully understood what that was when I came into it, so I was going
Right.
to go. You could have done this better
Well,
because
sure.
I figured, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
this is like we're
But-
doing tech for the second time or third time live,
Right.
As a preview. It's just I don't know. You see that movie Birdman, right? Where they just he starts. Did you replace
seen
my
it.
gin with water? And he loses his shit. Edward Norton does. And he starts like, you know what? This is fucking acting, man. Like you don't just take the. He starts breaking the fake. This is all fake fucking bananas, and everyone's losing their shit, and the fucking curtains just drop, and everyone's like, fucking yeah.
Yeah.
And like Michael Keaton's character's like, he's fucking fired. He's fucking fired. You gotta get him going. Like, no, we can't. He's the one that we sold out. We sold out all the next nights. He's the reason people are here. It's like he can't do that to my, and it was just.
Wow.
I don't know. The movie's fun. So I heard a critique once where it was like it's film people acting like they're from theater, and I'm like, do you remember where people come from? People come from theater, then just go to film. Some of them do.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of those actors that are in that are very theater based. And even Zach Galifianakis, he started from the comedy. You know
Yeah.
how hard
Yeah.
that is.
Stage, yeah.
Timing, all of
Still
that.
stage and still time.
It's just silly to me.
I was impressed with Galifianakis' performance in that. It was
Yeah.
more like real than I thought he could
I love that.
be.
Yeah, that's how you got me into this shit, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Right? Things that matter.
I saw the way I saw Shock Opera was like none of the video footage, and it sounds like a lot of the performance.
Oh, he didn't use
seg-
the video shit.
Oh no video.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
it sounds like there was a few stage scenes that I didn't see, and I
Yeah.
still thought it was without the added context of everything. There were parts I went, I wonder what's going on here, but that's probably in the video. But overall, I understood
Right.
what the play was. And
Oh, that's good.
It was really good.
That's great.
Yeah, some of the
That's
videos,
great to
some of
hear.
those things,
Yeah,
like
it's a
yeah,
great
there are
Thank
parts
you.
in the play where you could probably like add an extra 10 pages of new ideas
Yeah.
and take like 20 or 30 of the ones in your script and like,
Right.
because like
Totally.
we could spend way more time with Cheryl if we wanted to.
Yeah.
That's such a footnote.
Yeah, exactly, and that's also one of those things too that I intend to do naturally.
But with the timing of
But
everything,
once we got going, it was like it was like Kate's playing a lot of characters, and I shouldn't like load her with too many lines.
well, she wasn't supposed to until that person dropped out, right? The person dropped out.
Right.
And I remember I
And then things
have
changed.
video of it. I
Yeah.
was looking at it the other day. She goes, okay, we're like around, and I'm filming her like figure out the character of maybe doing Michael but doing Miss Sloane really, and there was a decision. We're like, do we just cut Michael out? Do we just keep
Right.
Michael in the videos?
Yeah, that was the weird part with the live scenes. That character, the
It played.
without that
And-
person being on the stage, no one noticed.
Not to mention the fact
So
that
you didn't even see a character that's actually
in the band,
wrote most of the hits.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
yeah, it's just like part of it.
gone.
And,
And this was before you recasted that part.
well, we didn't recast. We just went forward.
Oh, gotcha.
And
We
just
almost
dipped the lines
did.
out.
We almost did
Yeah.
do something. Yeah, and we might do that for the future. But here's the thing about it.
Yeah.
It's that Funhouse lounge stage. You put a lot of people on there, and it starts to get crowded pretty quickly. So not having that extra band member, I thought, helped it.
Oh,
I mean, you look at this stage, and I think the Funhouse's stage is maybe like less than like it's one of these guys right here, right?
Yeah, I felt the same way. It did clean up a lot of the movement, and there was a little bit of snags going on before the actor left.
It was, what's funny though too, because that person that played Michael looked exactly like.
That was the
Wow.
trick. Yeah, of all the people, she looked the most like the original character she was
Wow.
playing, and it was spooky. Like people were like, and then that was the one that quit.
can you imagine if Michael came to the show?
Oh, God.
I can't wait to see my story. unfold.
Who's gonna play me? And like, oh my dear God, I look like the kind of a good-looking girl. And he was he was definitely the one. The joke was within the Alice Cooper group, he got all the girls. You know, he was the jock. He was the one who played football. Everybody else played track.
You guys look like ADOT workers.
yeah.
Cut line from the play.
What made you decide, or what inspired you to do the cross-gender casting?
A couple things.
The fact that only the women showed up to the auditions.
That was one of the main ones. Also, because I did ask a bunch of people who actually play music, and they turned me down.
Wow.
But it was, it was good. I mean, it was all amicable.
I think it worked really well.
It worked very
And I
well.
gotta say, with the writing process of everything, the way you could change it and all of that, let's just say the sequence where he goes through all of his hits, like year after year, boom, boom, make that money,
Right.
and I'm like just dancing
Right.
to it, and like I'm falling over, I'm doing
The
more and more
coke out scene.
cocaine, and like that's one of those like where you took like an entire chunk of his life and just like,
Yeah.
4
years.
You know.
It's compressed it into 4 minutes.
And that's the kind of thing where you could almost do this with some of the other sequences. It's
Yeah.
just and I really appreciate it because I was doing the same thing at the time. I was transcribing another book into a play, and so I was just like, man, you took it from 2, and you were really getting into it. And we would sit down, and he'd be like, okay, guys, I'm going to read a passage from this book now. And from Shep Gordon's book, or from Dennis Dunaway's book,
Right.
and it was cool. We got to really get into. I don't know. I'm alive. The whole thing felt really alive.
Yeah. We refer to those as the blackout years.
Oh, nice.
Technically, it was only 3 albums, but I included.
Did we have blackouts? We should have had blackouts.
We should have. You're right.
See, what I can't wait to do is have that play happen here. You know the funny thing about being an actor is, and you have your own theater and all that shit, or whatever, you feel so fucking pompous. You
Yeah.
feel so full of shit.
Yeah.
and then
You've earned it.
until the show does well, you're like, okay, good. Because like somebody could come here like, he thinks he can play Alice Cooper at his own theater and charge me money, or like he thinks he can play Tommy, huh?
Right.
Fuck this guy.
That was almost a good John Wayne imperation.
I just. Hey there, Pilgrim.
Yeah.
You think you can take me? I don't think so, partner. I've only seen a few of John Wayne's films. I did watch one recently that was really good.
Yeah?
I forgot what it was called. It was the challenge. I started with C, I think. Anyways, I never really liked John Wayne and wanted to watch him just because of his like personal life.
Right.
He's very simple.
Oh yeah.
But I liked kind of seeing him put up to other actors that were
Interesting.
better than him.
Interesting guy. Like a lot of contradictions. Like
A lot of
good
contradictions.
actors,
Yeah.
I love his movies, and honestly, his personal life, I generally don't care.
When I saw that movie, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. because even though he went after the commies and the Red Scare,
Right.
that's which is awful.
Yeah. He was also weirdly supportive, not weirdly, but supportive of the young George Takei.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're on a set. There's
Was
a whole
George
story.
out by then?
No,
he wasn't.
No, but in his head, he knew what he was hiding. He's like, well, it's obvious I'm Japanese, American. But
John
I
Wayne,
with being
wow.
gay and young,
George Takei kind of sounds like John Wayne.
and
Doesn't
and-
he?
Well, you
A
might,
little bit, yeah.
because I think this was a really big moment for him because basically he was kind of down on a set.
Takei
And,
was? I think I heard this story.
And John Wayne gave him a pump-up speech. It was just like, hey, you just gotta let that stuff. I'm not gonna try to impersonate John Wayne, but it was like, just roll it off your back, like
You gotta let that stuff just roll off your back.
Oh God, I can imagine John Wayne like, you might be Asian, but at least you're not homosexual.
Right. Or a commie.
Commie. You might be Asian, Pilgrim.
You're not, are you?
You might be an Asian, Pilgrim. Or at least you're not a gay, homosexual commie.
Can I tell you guys a story?
Yes.
Yes.
You were about to say something.
I was just going to say, you ever think about like, oh man, am I going to be like the next Clint Eastwood? Like the guy that everyone's like, that guy's the hard ass. Or am I like the next John Wayne was like, that guy's the man's man? Because I don't think of myself as a man's man, but every now and then I get that fleeting thought of like, but I could be.
Yeah.
I could hitch my belt just right.
Yeah.
Walk like I'm bow-legged.
For my age,
Yeah.
it was Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford was the shit, wasn't he though?
I love Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many good people. One time, this is kind of a long story. Do you guys mind to tell a long story?
Yeah.
All right.
We totally mind.
One time, just randomly, my friend Ben and I send each other random videos, as I'm sure a lot of friends do. Ben sent me, posted a video on my Facebook wall. It was, I'm sure you both may have seen this by now. It's a pretty famous video clip. Ernest Borgnine appearing on Fox and Friends, and they're like, "Wow, you're 95 years old."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm 95 years old. How can you be 95? You look so good. You look so vibrant. How can you look this good and be 95?" And Ernest leans over and whispers, but the mics up pick it up. "I masturbate a lot."
And his eyes are just bugging out, man.
Oh yeah.
Is that the end of the story?
No.
Okay, cool.
No,
It's like
that's
a
the
long story.
introduction.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
That's the introduction of the story. So Ben and I laugh over that. I was like, "Wow, he seems like a cool guy. Wouldn't it be cool to meet him?" A couple days later, we get word that who's coming into town.
But,
Ernest
none other
Borgnine.
than
Awesome.
Ernest Borgnine's coming to town, and Ben's like, "Oh man, we have to go," and I'm like, "We do. The dude's 95. He was probably not coming back to town again. He's 95 years old." And I turned out to be
How old was
correct.
he?
He was 95 at the time.
how old?
95.
Okay.
95. A few days ago would have been his 100th birthday.
And he looked like a big time cigar smoker too.
He may have been, and he was not.
He had that big gap in his teeth, right?
He did.
Correct.
He was not exactly the most svelte individual. He was overweight his whole life, and he's lived to 95. So yeah, I have hope.
Right? Yeah.
But
Just stay away from those cigarettes, kid.
okay, I only have the occasional cigar.
Oh, do you? Yeah, careful with the cigars.
Oh yeah.
I had a buddy bring out a cigar last night, and I can't stand them, man.
Really?
I just feel like just dog meat afterwards,
Really?
just like awful.
I'm okay with it.
I hate the aftertaste, but I love the.
It's the aftertaste,
taste.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
you met him.
We did, but so
Nice.
we the talking of John Wayne and gay people made me think of the story. But
Oh no! What
You can't say that anymore. You can't say gay people. You have to say LGBTQ or otherwise. And otherwise, each letter of otherwise is actually it's an acronym. Each stands for the O and the T and the H and the E and the
Right.
R and the
that's too
W.
many letters for me.
I'm
So
making that up.
forgive me if I just say gay people. It's not intended as an insult.
No.
But anyway, we
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
There's anything wrong with
Gilbert
that.
Gottfried impersonating. Anyway, go ahead.
Ben and I decided to run out. He's doing a screening of Marty at the Witzel Auditorium at the Portland Art Museum, and
Wow.
we decided, we should go see him.
Yeah.
There probably won't be that many people there. The line goes around the block.
Yeah.
Which way did the block?
Oh,
which
shit.
way did the line go?
Uh,
Down towards the northwest.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm so bad with directions in Portland
Yeah.
and locations. But
You were at the Witzel.
Yeah, the Witzel, and he's going to do this, not a Q&A, but this interview with Ben Mankiewicz beforehand on stage, and we think, we're home free, but we get in line and we're afraid that we're not going to make it into the screening. And Ben, we're like far down the line. And,
Is this a murder story?
no. Well,
How'd you get in? How'd you get in?
I'll let you decide that for yourself later. Remember, Ernest Borgnine is not alive anymore. But
Dun, dun, dun.
Jesus Christ! What did you do?
I'll tell you.
Cheese and rice.
We think we thought we wouldn't get in. We ended up getting in. We got all the way to the back row. There were a couple of seats in the center, and people just a few people down from us. That was the cutoff, so we barely got in.
Wow.
I remember Ben Mankiewicz, incidentally the grandson of Herman Mankiewicz, who co-wrote Citizen Kane.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. That's why I know the name. Okay, thank you.
He was interviewing. He's also, I don't know if you watch The Young Turks. He's on their show.
Who is he? What's he look like?
He's one of the correspondents. He's just scruffy-haired Jewish guy.
Yeah. Is he kind of skinnier?
Skinnier. He has.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the beard thing.
Yeah, he has
kind of like
the
I didn't
whiskers.
shave for a few days, kind of guy. Yeah.
More than what you have.
Yeah, I haven't shaved for like a week. He's now. Well, has it been a week?
He kind of has a scruffy whisker.
I'm part.
Actually, kind of like what you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like 5 o'clock shadow with a week if you can
Yeah.
get a 5 o'clock.
Right.
Me,
Takes me about a week.
I'm part Cherokee,
Square
so
glasses.
I don't get cheek hair. This is
Yeah.
as good as it's gonna get. For me.
Yeah.
You ever see me in a beard on film? It's a fake fucking beard.
I can't grow facial hair either for some reason.
I can grow it. I can do the Johnny Depp thing where I get the thing and
We come from dolphin people. All of us.
Anyway, he was telling. It was 5 years ago that I saw him, so some of the memories are fuzzy. But he was telling all these stories. Like one time, this group of Italian people recognized him from Here to Eternity.
Oh wow!
This was back in the 50s or 60s when this happened. And he said that they got really hostile with him. Hey, spoiler alert! Hey, you're the guy that killed Sinatra. And they start to gang up on him.
Oh shit!
Did they say kill or did they say chow? You're the guy that chowed Sinatra.
No, I think they said kill, and they started to gang up on him. And he's like, "You fellas, it's only a movie." It's like, "Oh yeah, well, can you prove that he's still alive?" I forget exactly how he told it.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
It is. And the other story, the other thing I remember, the story he told, he talked quite a bit about From Here to Eternity, but a lot of it's lost because it's been a long time. The other thing I remember is the theater going dead silent because
oh shit.
He starts talking. You know who I always felt really sorry for? The gays.
Oh no!
It didn't come from a bad place, but he's a 95-year-old dude.
Right.
Well, he felt sorry for them though.
Yeah.
Why?
It's,
you know,
they have a real rough shot of life, the gays. I
Wow.
feel so bad. And everyone's like completely silent. And Ben Mankiewicz is like, yeah, so...
yeah.
Anyway. Just as the movie...
We're just gonna brush that aside.
Yeah.
What do you mean we can't use this in court? What do you mean it's inadmissible? He said something about the case. This relates directly to the case. This 99-year-old murderer 4 years ago said this on stage. You can't just bleep this on Your Honor. Sorry, I just got done watching the People versus O.J. Simpson with the Cuba Gooding.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I've watched that whole series.
It was not bad.
10 times.
10 times?
Seriously. But anyway, I was...
Wow, you must really like it.
I do.
Somebody compared it to Kubrick I saw
Really?
recently. Yeah, they were like, it's very Kubrick. You know, and I'm like, I guess you could say. I mean, the shots where they go into the televisions and like it must have
last
been
a long time.
It must have been so fun to sometimes they'll like the cameras it'll pan, sorry to cut off, and it'll go in like in between the camera that's filming the thing, and it has the exact same quality of what you saw, and like sometimes it must have been so fun to make the 95 quality, 94, 95 quality of the picture.
TVs.
I've done that before. It's fun. You get to like you're filming on like expensive like cameras, right? And you're just like degrading the footage to look like just garbage.
Right.
I know it must have been kind of fun to do that, you know. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Anyway, he talks with Mankiewicz for a while on stage. Ben and I decided to ditch the screening right as it was about to start. There had been an auction at the beginning where if you paid enough money to the theater or whatever, you could get a photo opportunity with Borgnine and his autograph.
Right.
We didn't have the money to do that.
Wow, they were just
But,
like he was just saying like if you give it to the theater, he was just giving it to
it was kind of an auction that the theater did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really nice of him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's like, yeah, it takes me.
But
we
couldn't.
Most of them are probably gay. I feel sorry for them. Of course not.
We couldn't afford to go to do that, so we decided.
If you had been gay, you could afford it.
Oh, you poor souls! You've had a rough life.
Yes, poor straight bastards. At least you're not gay. It's welcome for the gays.
And anyway, we went out to the hallway.
Jesus Christ.
Right before the screening began, because we figured, do we want to see a screening of a movie that we'll probably have another chance to see eventually? Do we want to meet Ernest Borgnine?
Yeah.
Obviously. So we went out. I remember we were...
Were you chuckling to yourselves like, idiots, all those fools inside, what are they thinking?
Oh, no. But I was glad that not more people joined us. There was a room kind of next to where the auditorium is, a semi-translucent door. You couldn't see in, but you could see how the light was. And I remember Ben and I...
Did you see that, like a silhouette of the Gap in his teeth?
No. I remember Ben and I were standing outside that door, and there were constant light flashes because he was doing the photo opportunities.
Got it.
And it was like...
Right.
And Ben and I were just waiting a long time, and...
that was the quickening.
The quickening. None of this happened on the set of the quickening set. That's a line from my 5th film. I didn't know the quickening was a real film. It was just a movie I made up in my movie. None of this. The director goes like, none of this happened on the set of the quickening.
Eventually, Borgnine comes out of the auditorium, and surprisingly, he has a pretty big entourage with him, like 4 or 5 people, like surrounding him. I'm like, this is Ernest Borgnine. Like, I don't want to like belittle the guy. He's talented, but it's not like we're trying to square off against Brad Pitt.
Right? Yeah.
But he won an award for Marty, right?
He did.
Yeah.
He beat James Dean.
Out of Giant?
I think so. It was going to be a posthumous Oscar had he won.
No, he did. No, that's right. He didn't get that posthumous, did he?
No, it was Borgnine that beat him.
Wouldn't he have been a supporting in that anyway? I feel like Rex was much more of a lead in that.
I haven't seen it.
Could have been, but anyway, we were.
Giant's just the most beautiful color, like just so. Yeah, I mean, and the scene where he's like bathing in the fucking. Oil is like the moment when they were watching those rushes, is the moment they found out James had died in his car, and it was a haunted car too. You should look at that car up.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we were waiting.
A lot of
Eventually,
people.
they came out. Ernest reaches over, shakes Ben's hand, and he's like, Mr. Borgnine, so nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, thank ya. And then he's coming over to me, and I reach my hand out, and he grabs my hand, and Ernest Borgnine, it's so good to meet you. He gets this horrified look on his face, and he's like, don't squeeze so hard. And he walks, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's good to meet you. He's like, yeah. And he goes walking on.
Wow.
And I'm not even at the best part of the story yet. There was a guy that was like right there, watching, like, who was a bystander when it happened, and he laughs. Don't squeeze so hard. That's the greatest thing I ever seen. He walks off.
Is that like echoing in the? People are watching Marty right now. You're in a joining wall. Somebody heard that, like in the theater. You hear that. The walls are pretty thin right there. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And we're like, why are we watching this?
The dude walks off in one direction. Ben and I. Like we go a different direction from this
which dude? The Borgnine?
Oh no, Borgnine like walks in the corridor and is gone with his entourage.
He didn't go up the stairs. He went.
He went like down this corridor in front of the theater, and there was a door at the end.
Okay. Not by the bathrooms, but opposite.
I don't remember.
I'm just trying to help everybody who's listening right now. I hear people Portlandians, you know.
I don't know.
Is that what we call them? Portlanders.
Assuming they've been to the Wipsel. It's pretty good little theater. But anyway, just some random dude. Borgnine went. I don't know. He went to the end. I could show you sometime if you want to see like where everything happened.
You map it out for me. Just like and then this is where I squeezed his hand too hard.
Yeah. But he went out and. The random dude's like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
He disappeared. Ben and I went up a different way than he did. We're going through the lobby, and we see him at a distance. He's like, "Hey, don't squeeze so hard!" Shit. And then we wave. Yeah,
how far were you away? Like a good 50 yards or so.
We were like across this room, like over like from here to like where the doors are to.
This is like after he says it the second time, right? Is that what you're saying?
That's the second time.
Yeah.
We walk out. We're walking in the front, and somehow he comes around and he sees us again. Hey, don't squeeze so hard. And they're like, all right, buddy, thank you. And we decide. Ben and I decide. Hey, we're hungry. Let's go get some hot lips. We're walking down the street. We're 3 blocks down the street, and suddenly I hear this engine pulling up, and then
crap.
And then oh God, who is this? And then suddenly, hey, don't squeeze so hard. The same guy.
Wow.
I think at least 4 different times calling us out.
That's a really amazing story there.
That's dedication.
It's really funny.
But 3 months later, like 3 months and 3 days after that, Ernest Borgnine dies, and like, oh my God! And I tell people, Ernest Borgnine died. And like,
what month?
You probably killed him
when
with your
did he
handshake.
die? What day did he die?
He died like July 8th, 2012, and I met him April 5th.
He died in July? Oh, wow. And you made him in April?
Met him in April. And people kept telling me I killed him with that handshake.
Awesome.
One of my favorite stories to tell, man.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Do you ever see the short movie? You know the guy who did Heavy Metal Parking Lot? The name is escaping me at the moment. But he did a lot of other smaller short films, and one of them was On the Road with Ernest Borgnine.
Oh, I've
Yes.
seen some driving a trailer.
Yes.
I've seen clips on
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's like an RV or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks about the same as he does in that. When I saw him.
Yep.
That idea, though, that story you just told would be so fun as a. That's the kind of stuff we put in Marty in Transit, where like there was the ongoing, it's a story, so things like, but like it was the things where like characters would get out and they'd be like, "Hey, I remember you from like 30 minutes ago," but that's not direct dialogue,
Right.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
But that's brilliant. That would be great, and if we do the sequel, like that'd be so fun. That'd be so fun. Well, or an actor character in this video, I was like, "Hey, yeah, don't squeeze so hard." Like you're like by doing that, you almost don't even have to have the actor there. At sometimes you can just have the vocals or. Anyways, it goes on, and I think that's a good story, man. It was a long one, but it was good.
It was. I apologize for the length.
No, it was a great length.
I
kept interrupting you.
I love that story. It was a great experience. It's a golden age actor. You never like most of them are dead.
Yeah.
And he is too now. But
Yeah.
it was just a great opportunity.
Yeah, who from that era is still alive? No, were you gonna say something?
Not many people. There's
Yeah.
You
few.
got Clint.
That's why I love listening
was
to
around
the
that time, I
Gilbert
think?
Gottfried, because they've been targeting people who are living in Hollywood where they live, or at least LA, and finding a few, some of them just in time.
Yeah. they're going fast. There's like I don't know if it's golden age, but there's like Vera Miles from who's in Hitchcock, Kim Novak. There's
Yeah. There's God.
You're talking about the Godfrey show?
Well, in terms of, finding people who are up there in the years 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And they have a list, and like almost daily, they're crossing people off on an almost daily basis because of the age. And they're lucky to get, like, say for example, just within the last year they got Dick Van Dyke.
Oh,
See, he's still
But
alive.
not
Yeah?
married Tyler Moore in time because she's been sick for a long time.
Did Mary die?
Yeah, she died like a month
past
ago,
away.
right?
A couple weeks ago.
You know what's funny is, okay, I think that we're gonna have just as many people die this year, but the media somehow is like, news is crazy. Let's just talk about dead celebrities again. That worked like 10 years ago. Let's
Right.
do it again. And it gets so oversaturated to where it doesn't matter who dies really, and you're just like, okay, cool. Mary Tyler Moore died this year. If it had happened in 2016, I probably would have known it more because everyone was like, and did you know?
Well,
now David Bowie.
It's the age.
Yeah.
It's
It was
lot
a
of
very
talented people,
it was a very big music year of deaths though last year. It was
talent.
a lot of
There's
music.
a lot of talent that was going on, and that's just they're at that age.
God, it was.
And we are.
We were talking.
Turned 95
one
and
time.
it's just great. That's
We last time I was here, he had Warhol Kaufman / Baraka Noel. He was here, and we did kind of a trace talk like we're doing. We had an audience, but we had kind of a three-way podcast with me, Warhol, and him. And one of the things he asked was, "What was the hardest death for you of last year?" And I had a hard time. It's hard for me to like think, "Oh, this one was more important to me than this one." But I have my answer now.
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's a tie between Gene Wilder and Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Alan Rickman's a good one too. He was early on in the year too.
He was.
Yeah. Gene Wilder was mine. I'm pretty sure that was my pick.
That
Yeah,
was your pick.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick because there's a lot of them that made me really
Alan
sad.
Rickman was great though. I'm still watching movies that I find him in, and some of Gene Wilder's too. But I think I've seen his
Most of them.
plethora of his work, and even some stuff that I just haven't read his. He was a writer, so I haven't read his books. I'm sure they're really fun.
Yeah.
He only directed one movie, I think, and it was the Sherlock movie, the other brother of Sherlock. It was sort of like unknown.
Sherlock's smarter brother.
Not so quite smarter brother. It was something like that. Yeah, he played the not so smart version of Sherlock. It was funny. I forgot the actress that's in it. She's wonderful. But I forgot who it was. But they have like a song and dance part. I think it's on Netflix. When I last saw it,
Is it?
It might still be.
Sherlock's not so smart brother.
You know what? I might have actually gotten it from the library.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah. You'll find it. You just type in Gene Wilder, Sherlock, and it'll pop right up.
Okay, I'll look after.
It's not like the greatest thing in the world, but it I think about it sometimes, and it's fun. I just love Wilder. He was just so good.
What's your favorite non-Mel Brooks Gene Wilder movie?
Okay, good question. Okay.
Do you have one?
Non-Mel Brooks.
Non-Mel Brooks.
Everything's popping in my head right now. I'm like, I gotta think of it.
Well, the first one that came to my head was Willy Wonka.
Mm.
Yeah. Probably that's it.
Mine is Silver Streak with him and Richard
Oh, that's
Pryor.
so funny.
It's a good one.
I've
It's a
seen
good
that. I
one.
don't remember shit about it, but I had a courier company for a few months in town, and I named it Silver Streak after that movie because I had a silver truck.
Watch it again. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think his best, my favorite performance in a non-Mel Brooks movie of his, if I had to pick it, would be the one in Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, I forgot.
It's
That was his
so
first
small.
role, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's so good.
Oh, God.
And it was funny. I think he had said something at one point. They'd asked him, I was acting, and I was being serious, and everyone kept laughing. I asked, I think it was Mel Brooks or somebody, and they go, "Why is everyone laughing?" And I was like, "Because look at you."
You're a curly redhead.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great scene where he's just like, and then I'm this. And they pick him up, these hitchhikers, and they kick him out because they find out that he is basically he works in not a morgue, but he's the guy that dresses the dead bodies and
The Undertaker.
basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm
Mortician.
I'm a mortician, I'm an undertaker, yeah, or whatever. And they go like, it just gets really silent, and they kick him out.
We can't handle that.
It was funny too because it was the first time Gene Hackman's character was like, "Don't sell that cow," and he was just, "That's so funny." And he's like, they love him. They're like, they love these guys. These guys are great. They're just robbing banks, and they got everybody with them. And it's just, they kick him out. And the wonderful thing about that was and then they did Young Frankenstein, and God, Gene Hackman just plays the old blind man in that,
Oh, God, I love that movie.
and it just the connections of everybody are just wonderful.
Yeah.
What's a really underrated movie is, I haven't seen it in a while. I need to see it again. Is Bulworth.
Have it.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
I understood the premise of it, so I appreciated
It's fun.
what they were doing.
It's fun. I
I've
mean,
never
I like a
seen
good Warren Beatty performance. They're few and far between, but he's good.
I bought it really cheap once at Everyday Music or
The
something.
poster's wonderful.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah.
The first time I saw it, I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Then I saw it again. I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that as a kid. Like I was about 9 or 10
It wasn't
or 11
marketed
or so.
well. That was, I think, the thing.
How do you market something like that?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well,
It's hard to market.
Beatty. He always does something new.
Yeah, but it's political based, so it's difficult. It's hard to
Yeah.
what's one of the most successful political movies? Would probably be Dave with Kevin Kline.
I
That's
love
an
Kevin
amazing
Kline.
movie, and I love Charles Grodin. He's one of my favorites.
Who is he in that?
He's still fucking alive, dude. God, he's his buddy who helps him do his taxes, and he's so bummed out. He's like, God, this is crazy. What do you make me doing this for? He's like, I need you to help me fix the budget of America. But look, you can't tell anybody.
The guy who pushed prostitutes out windows in Catch-22. Yeah, I love Charles Grodin.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's a great actor.
And he doesn't age, He always has the most perfect wig.
Yeah.
He tries to lead Lust Ever Miss Piggy in The Great Muppet Caper, and he's just wonderful.
Earlier today, I was at my friend's house. He was flipping through on-demand movies. One came up. It's like, Charles Grodin is whatever. And I'm like, didn't he die recently? And he's like, I thought he had died. Turns out he didn't, but my friend got pissed. So, hey, don't tell me Charles Grodin died.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'd be the same way. Yeah, because
Yeah.
here's the thing. It's like at every scene, he's been in. I remember so excited to see a movie one day with my buddies. We went out to the theater. He was in it with him and a few other people. I think Zach Braff might have been in it. I don't remember. No. It was the dude from well, maybe he was in it, but it was the dude from Arrested Development and Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf 2?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Bateman, Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman, yeah.
Yes.
And it was just it was bad. It was so bad. And my buddies, and I see him, I was like, that's just. There's this moment where he's like, fuck, that lamp's hot. And I'm just like, God, that was a really good fuck from Charles Grodin. But that's the only good part in the entire movie. And we're leaving the theater, and my buddies are like, so? I'm like, God, that was bad, huh? And they're like, wow, we're surprised. I'm in the back of the car, and then there's like, we're driving. We're in the parking lot of the theater, and it's like, oh, we're surprised you're here. We didn't want to say anything, because we also thought it was really bad. But we knew you liked Charles, so we didn't want to say anything. That's my old buddies Connor Wallace, and gosh, that was Elise Holder.
Take a drag off that.
Yeah.
When you really like a movie and someone else really doesn't, you gotta listen to each other's opinions and stuff and be polite and stuff. But there's always that underlying tension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're really passionate about movies,
Yeah.
and it's always like, oh, you didn't like that, huh? Earlier, I was talking to someone who didn't like Hacksaw Ridge.
I haven't seen that yet.
You didn't like
Yeah, I haven't
Hacksaw
either.
Ridge? Oh, I love Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, I saw the
I
review
heard
for
great
it.
things about
I
it.
saw the review for it, and the new Willamette, sometimes they shorten the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the review was, I don't know why, why in the fuck did they nominate Mel Gibson for another Oscar? I think that was their review.
Oh, wow.
And they gave it a C. And I'm
Wow,
like,
really?
That's biased. That's biased, And it's just like, why? Because what did he really do wrong? I know he's got an anti-Semitic father. And
He said pretty anti-Semitic things ever called.
Did he on his phone call thing with like
When the cop pulled him over, there was
Oh, it was the cop
reporting
thing.
of
Yeah.
you fucking Jews.
Yeah, oh god.
And then there's that phone that someone had brought their phone to Mel Gibson's house, and he was like screaming. It was fucking scary, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know
But
what
the
kind of
movie
pressure
itself.
he was under, or what kind of whatever the fuck.
I don't know. He's made some pretty damn good movies though.
He has, but at the same time, I will say this. This is nothing against him. I'm just saying, sometimes when you analyze someone's performance record, look at all the stuff, he plays a lot of martyrs.
He does though.
For someone to be anti-Semitic? I'm just talking about in terms of like, belief systems.
Well, I'll tell you this, that you might know this, but Adolf Hitler.
Wait, there's not the other Hitler.
Eddie Hitler?
Springtime for Hitler in Germany.
Eddie Hitler from...
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
What was FF? Or, no, that's
same difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
British humor. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, the top of the moment here.
Animation.
Would you like a biscuit? No, what was it? He loved the Passion of the Christ. He would have that play done before me. He would laugh his ass off. So he loved watching Jesus get tortured. Loved it.
What?
And yeah, that's a fact.
Well, it was a Jew, so of course he wanted to see.
I don't know how many times he watched it. I just know that it's on record that he laughed his little mustache off.
Well, Jesus was a Jew, so maybe.
Hitler
was Christian.
Yes,
I've heard conflicting reports of that.
Jesus was a Jew. I knew a guy that would say Jesus, and I'm like I love the way you say Jesus, man. It reminds me so much. Like you're saying this rabbi voice, and he's Jewish, so it wasn't like offensive or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "I have a speech impediment. Thanks for bringing it up." And I'm like, "Whoa, you could have played that so differently because I gave it as a compliment, motherfucker. Like you don't try to make me feel bad. Nuh-uh. I didn't know you had a speech. I've known you for like over a year. I never noticed your speech impediment. I just thought you said things funny sometimes, and I thought you did it on purpose. I don't judge you. I thought it was cool.
I was a nice turn of phrase.
Yeah. He would say Jesus, and I'm like,
I bet he doesn't have a speech impediment. He just said that.
I think that he's a little bit of a psycho. But who knows? People are people. That's a line from the room, right? Yeah. People are people. What can I say?
But Hacksaw Ridge is such a tonal shift. The beginning is like a Frank Capra movie. It's
No doubt.
Small town boy. It's very sweet. And the way Garfield acts, you'd expect Jimmy Stewart to play it if it was maybe 70 years ago.
Right.
He's like, he's like courting this nurse. I love you, and I want to be with you. I want to marry you.
Yeah.
And it's all sweet. And then a little bit down the line, you're watching soldiers just get riddled with bullets. It's the most violent war movie I've ever seen.
Oh my god.
Someone described the film as Frank Capra, Cecil B. DeMille, and Lucio Fulci all combined.
Oh wow, that's dark. I thought you were gonna throw in who's the Wild Bunch guy blowing it, but
Leone, is that it?
No, the guy. It was one of those. The Wild Bunch.
I can't think of it. I know it's on the tip of my brain.
Not
that's one of those people.
not Ford, right? But
No, not at all. This guy did
Wild Bunch.
sheer gore
What was his name?
and shoot 'em ups. Wild Bunch and Straw Dogs. But
I
I
do
know what
know.
I'm talking about.
Edge Immigrant.
Yeah.
Peckinpah, Sam
Yeah,
Peckinpah.
that is. Yeah.
Peckinpah. I was going to say the long last name or the weird last
Sam
name. Peckinpah.
Peckinpah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there it is.
It's
Yeah.
got a couple of papas in there. Yeah.
Super aggressive Vietnam era shoot 'em ups. Yeah.
Straw Dogs is pretty
Wild
violent.
Bunch.
They made a remake of that, and you think, but why?
The original was actually, if you look at it, it's really dated.
Yeah,
It's all about his wife's boobs. If you watch it, it's bizarre. It's like she doesn't wear a bra, so it's like, oh, sexualizing the wife so that these creepy people can come and try to attack their house.
Right when she gets to the car, everyone kind of turns, and she's like not wearing a bra.
Yeah.
Let's get her.
I'm oblivious. We're Americans. You can't touch us.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. And get fucking Dustin Hoffman into a froth so he can go on a rampage. So that's, pretty much Straw Dogs in a nutshell. I preferred Wild Bunch.
Wild Bunch.
Yeah, Peckinpah was pretty
Fuck
brutal.
yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Borgnine was in that.
Did he use the gun? And if he did he squeeze it too hard?
I'd have to watch it again.
Don't squeeze too hard. I said, don't squeeze so hard or don't squeeze too hard.
I think he said so hard.
But the other guy was yelling, don't squeeze too hard. Like,
Oh,
you're not even doing the quote right.
He was saying, I think he was saying, don't squeeze so hard as well. It was,
Excuse me.
but it was nuts. Like, it kept turning into I think he was almost stalking us so he could say that one more time.
Yeah, I know, it sounds like it.
Don't squeeze so hard.
That's so funny.
I don't know if I've brought this up yet or not. I would like to.
My contract says I keep my clothes on.
Okay. Show us your dick, Montetré. No, please don't.
It's radio, so it's huge.
Wow! That's quite a whopper. No, what I wanted to
And the crowd goes wild! Wow! Play the soundbite everyone
Why is my
clapping.
eye itching?
You can use that as a bat if you ever short one at baseball. That was a lame joke. Peter J. Lewis.
Okay, I like the idea of batting with my dick. That sounds amazing. And then just a home run. And had you see the pecker on that man? Peck is kind of derogatory, I'd say, actually. It's not quite PC, not Pekka-C, not Pekka... Sorry, I'm done with the...
Peter J. Lewis is directing an adaptation
I think it's
of Clue.
pronounced Pecker J. Lewis.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I wasn't done with it yet. Easy. Okay, I'm sorry. Go again.
I don't know if he's going to be so happy that you called him Pecker J. Lewis, or maybe he'll be thrilled. I don't know. What do you think, Peter? Anyway, he's directing Clue for production here, and you're going to be the lead. You're the butler guy.
I play Wadsworth.
What? That's his name, Wadsworth. Are you going to do the Curry voice, or are you going to do a different approach?
I definitely have to do a voice because there's a moment in the play where they go, no. He goes, in the movie, he goes, no. And they go, no? And they repeat exactly the way he says something. So I have to figure something out. I have to have a voice. It doesn't have to be British, but I do know that it has to be mischievous. And I know why he smiles so much. It's just because it's as if he's contained. He's like, I can't burst out laughing now. It's just, you idiots.
Oh, I had so many fucking geniuses in that thing.
Oh my God, the all-star cast.
Yeah. The only thing I remember from that movie is communism's a red herring.
They say that a few times near the end. Yeah. No, and at the very last minute, is communism was just a red herring. And it's just like, they say it different every time. So I remember watching that scene. I watched it yesterday with Jeanette, and we were kind of breaking it down every now and then. And just that part in particular, I'm like, oh, filming that and doing that, he probably had to say like, okay, will this be the last one? If you put them all three together, or what is what is it, And so just knowing to say it different every time, anyway, it's just. It's just a really brilliant breakdown of a performance, and I'm not. I'm not. None of us are going to do the Madeline Kahn or the Tim Curry or the Christopher Lloyd or this guy. His name is Lee Ving.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, leaving from fucking Fear.
From Fear.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was talking to my cab driver
Love
last night, and he's like, Lee Ving from Fear? From the band Fear? I'm like, yeah. He's like, from the punk rock band Fear? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the reason why he played Mr. Body in the character Mr. Body, if you've seen the movie, you know that. Is he Mr. Body? Anyway, the point is, his name is. There's a line we go, Mr. Body will be leaving soon, and his name is Leaving. It's just that's not his real name, I don't think, but that's like, but that had been his name for a while up to that
It's
point.
like, who are you? I'm leaving.
Yeah, Mr. Body will be leaving. So yeah, there has to be some. It's a little bit of Cockney in there, It's a little bit, and I might have fun with that. I definitely have. I have to do the smile because the smile is he's a mischievous character. He's like kind of like Puck, just a little bit. He's just fucking with everybody the entire time.
And the casting is done now.
The casting is done. I could actually list it off.
What are the dates for this show?
I think
in March, right?
I think our first show is March 11th.
March 11th.
I think it's our preview, and then we're going to do it for two or 3 weeks. I think maybe just. I think we're going to do it for 3 weeks, 4 shows a week. So we'll do 12 shows total, 4 shows a week for 3 weeks. So it'll go until about just the mid-April, because it'll open a preview, and then a week later, I think it'll fully open.
I gotcha.
It's about the 18th or so, or maybe a day prior. I don't know. You can find it on MrTheater.com, MISTER Theater, THEATER. Theater is spelled the same way as Mr. with the ER at the end, .com. MrTheater.com, and you can see all of the calendars are all there. I would look it up right now, but my phone's a recording device, apparently.
True. And Peter is, this is his first time directing a stage play?
I think that is correct.
I loved him. He played the psychiatrist in the room. And
He played the first psychiatrist.
The first psychiatrist. The movie does this little switch thing because the actor ditched. You did the same thing in your play.
We did, and
I
we
loved
almost got the original. So the person who played it was a guy named Phil Papil, I believe is how you say his last name. I don't think it has an M. I want to say Pompey all the time, but I think it's Pompil.
The actual psychiatrist in the movie.
Well, that's the person who played it in the play. So I want to give credit to him first for our stage adaptation.
Oh, okay.
And the actor that played the person that came in second, not to take anything away, Peter was wonderful in that role. He was hilarious.
Oh, he was. I loved him.
There was one particular performance where he was genius because he had a drink or two too much. And he was like, well, I'm just like, gosh, just what you mean? And I'm just like, it was the only time I ever really broke in the play. And like, I'm just like, let's see, mate. You know, and God, it was just so, I was so mad at him. And it was just so funny. And the scene where he went out there, he's like, so what's wrong, Mark? I'm scared. Just tell me everything. What's wrong? Why you gotta fight?
Man.
Why you gotta fight?
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
I'm gonna put him in a film now.
No, he's a wonderful, wonderful actor, and I think he'll be a very good director. Actually, I think he's got a good vision, so that's good.
Well, he spent his time watching directors, so I'm sure, and like seeing what they do, so he probably knows very well how it works.
And he's also cast his two good buddies, myself and Ryan, and Jeanette in it as well. And so, like, you know, we've been working on. I met Jeanette and Ryan. I met Ryan and Peter in 2009, like the very first week and a half of living in Portland.
Oh, wow.
I got cast in Ryan's play. Peter was in it. I remember Peter hated me the first time he met me. He was just like looking at me like give me the dirty eye. Like, I got a supernumerary role in that, and get to know. I showed up every practice and get to know everybody there. This was tangenting off to somewhere else though. The character that came in for the room.
Mm-hmm.
That came in to play for the day or whatever he did. His name is Greg Ellery. That's the real actor who came in, who
Wow.
worked with Dylan here. Like they studied a lot in
really?
Chico together. They ran their theater together, right? And I think that's a fun story,
crazy.
you know. But
Small world.
so we might get him for the if we do this idea for bringing it back, we might inevitably get him for this rumor.
Wow.
Yeah, he moved back to the West Coast. He wants to visit Portland soon.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
I'd love to have him on the podcast if you'd want to.
Totally.
Damn.
I just acted with him last summer. I see him almost every summer in Chico because we do a show called The Butcher Shop that's been going on since the late 80s. Actually, it did have a time off. Like I think the last one was at 92, and some time went by, and I was bored one night, and I started pulling out the VHS and putting a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and all of a sudden everybody was like watching it and going, why aren't we doing this again? Why aren't we acting together anymore? I was like, because it's fucking 2 decades later. Or more. It's a whole generation, so we got to get together like it.
It's really
you
kind
know,
of,
and put on shows.
it's really kind of
years.
amazing if you watch that character's performance. Like I watched that guy Greg Ellery, and once I found that fact out that they had studied together and worked together. This is let's go ahead and just say it's kind of like taking when Walken and Pacino and De Niro and what's his name? Oh God. Oh, fuck, I hate forgetting this guy's name. The dude that was in The Deer Hunter and Dog Day Afternoon and
Defoe? Or is it, no?
And he was only in like 4 great movies, or maybe 5. And
Fright Night?
The one that was
he played Fredo.
Oh no, Fredo. Yeah.
It's John Cazale. That's his
that's
name.
it.
He was only in like 5 movies, and then he died of a brain cancer thing.
Fuck.
It was awful,
I
but he was in
didn't
5 of the
know he
greatest movies made. Deer Hunter and 2 of the Godfathers and the 1 and 2 and you broke my Dog Day Afternoon, and then what was the other one? The Conversation.
Conversation.
Very good sound movie.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that's like they have a certain kind of. You see Pacino and you see some De Niro in there, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when I was watching The Room, I could see Hillerman doing that role, like for that character and playing it like. You understand what you're doing? And it's like that's perfect. That's the way Dylan might play. Like you're gonna bring him apart. Okay, you're destroying Johnny, and it's just like Dylan kind of do it the same way.
That's what's funny about that. It's funny you say that because just last summer,
like maybe he was playing you.
I was at a fucking party for the butcher shop, and Ellery comes up and is being introduced to Julia yet again. Mm-hmm. And there was a moment where it was like we were talking about the old days in the '90s and just doing stuff at the Blue Room in California. And there was that moment where we were talking about, like, the way it went, you know, how things laid out and over time, over the years. And then there was a moment where it was like, even Ellery was sitting there telling Julia, like, there was moments where it was like, okay, who do we get for this? Well, so-and-so's in L.A. and so-and-so's sick. So, I don't know, Ellery, Hillerman, whoever. There are certain people who could play certain roles, and we were always lumped in.
Oh.
And Ellery was one of the hardest workers at that theater. He did a lot more plays than I did there, for sure. But I started out as curator and admin. I was marketing, and I would capture all the plays on camera for about a year before I had the guts to fucking show up and actually do an audition. And this is because I started out doing that as a kid, and I was having this moment of like, nope, not acting here and playing, not doing that. Fucking no one wants to see me on stage. I had this really negative attitude at that time. And so I basically, but at the same time, I admired all my friends for pushing forward and doing things. And so I would show up and just kind of like capture what they were doing. And after a while, I was like, what the fuck am I thinking? I'm going to get up there and do it too. This is great.
Yeah.
What they're doing is amazing. And so, and I knew Ellery from beyond theater. It was just like we
were friends.
She was dating a girl who was roommates with another girl that I was, not dating, but in love with. So we knew each other from just hanging out, so.
That brings me to a question. I just thought of, he might be able to watch someone play him.
Go on.
He might be able to watch someone play him soon. They're making that disaster artist movie, or the movie's called The Masterpiece, I think, about the making of The Room.
Mm-hmm.
James Franco's playing
Franco,
Franco.
yeah.
Is someone playing Ellery, or is
Someone else played Ellery. In fact, Ellery did an entire audition tape. It's on YouTube. To try to get into that movie, and he kept saying, well, I should probably play this because I'm the guy who originated the role.
Wouldn't it be funny though if they had cast you to play it?
That would have been amazing.
That would have been so.
Because I was in a James DeFranco movie right before. Oh yeah.
Let's take a break.
Sure.
Cool.
This is Heavy Set